viewers, you are most welcome to our channel Poetry Online. In this video, we shall be discussing how to write a standard waec informal letter or friendly letter for full marks. Kindly subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get updates on all our new videos. Once again, let us assure you of a very interesting discussion. Get ready for this lesson. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the features of a friendly letter, use the features of a friendly letter effectively and efficiently. So, we're going to begin today's lesson with the question, what is an informal letter or what is a friendly letter? When we say an informal letter, what does it mean? They are often called friendly letters or personal letters and are written to people who are quite close to us or to acquaintances of our age. They include letters to our friends, pen pals, sisters, brothers, wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends. All these fall under this category of letters, friendly letters or informal letters. So the simple question is, have you ever written a friendly letter? If yes, how did you write it? What are some of the features of the friendly letter you wrote? Does your features include the sender's address, date, salutation, the body, subscription, and sender's name? Great job if your letter contained all this. Here are the features of a friendly letter. Every friendly letter must have a sender's address. It must have the date, the salutation, the body. The body includes the introduction, the development, and the conclusion. Subscription and sender's name. We're going to discuss them one after the other, starting with the first feature, which is the sender's address. So, we're now going to discuss the sender's address and date. The address of the writer, called the sender's address, should be on the top right-hand corner of your sheet of paper. The address may be indented, thus slanting or straight, or some will call it the block form. The address is mandatory. However, the style of writing it may differ from student to student, depending on which one you prefer to use. Always remember that the address does not include the name of the writer. This is very serious. Sometimes when you're marking the scripts of candidates, you find candidates writing their names as part of the address. No, the name of the writer is not part of the sender's address. Do not write the recipient address in an informal letter. Thus, when it comes to an informal letter or a friendly letter, there is only one address, and that is the address of the writer. So, we don't expect to see two addresses in your informal letter or your friendly letter. The recipient address is not necessary in a friendly letter. Generally, the writer's address is set out in two ways. What this simply means is that you can write your address in two ways. Either you write the slant way or the straight way. Let's consider the following examples. Ghana Senior High School, Post Office Box 222, Tamale. This is the slanted way of writing an address. Ghana Senior High School, Post Office Box 222, Tamale. And this is a straight way. Why do we say it is slanted? The second line of the first address is not in line with the first word of the first line of that particular address. Therefore, we say it is a slanted address. However, when we come to the second example, all the words are in line with the first word of the first letter of the address. Therefore, we say this is the straight or the block form. This is a slanted way of writing the sender's address. However, the date should be in line with the first letter of the first line. When you decide to use a slanted form, always remember that the date should be in line with the first letter or the first line of the address. Ghana Senior High School, Post Office Box 222, Tamale, 1st May 2022. So, you can see, even though the address is slanted, the date is in line with the first word of the first line of the address. That's Ghana. So, always remember to do this. One more thing. 1st May. When you're writing your date, don't let the ST of the date be hanging. This is wrong. May, the name of the month, should be a capital letter. This is a proper noun. Don't use a small letter for it. However, with the second address, everything is straight right from the first letter of the address. Ghana Senior High School, P.O. Box 222, Tamale, 1st May 2022. So, every word is in line with the first letter of the first line of the address. This is the block form, or this is the straight form of writing the address. Again, when it comes to the date, always remember not to let the ST of the first to be hanging. If you're writing second, ND should not be hanging. Third, RG should not be hanging. It should be in line with all the other words. May, or the month of the year that you're writing, should be a capital letter. This is a proper noun. Don't use the lowercase for it. If you do so, the examiner will circle this as an error and subtract points from your marks. Now the big question is, should I punctuate my address or not? Most candidates always ask the same question. Should I punctuate the address or leave it without punctuation marks? An address can be punctuated or left without punctuation marks. Both are correct. If you decide not to punctuate the address, do punctuate the dates, because some people are of the view that the date is not part of the address. Therefore, if you decide not to punctuate the address, do punctuate the dates. To avoid confusion, we always ask candidates to use the punctuated address and be free from any stress. Always use the punctuated one. For example, if you're using an address without punctuations, Ghana Senior High School, no punctuation. Post Office Box 222, no punctuation. Tamale, no punctuation. 2nd May, 2022, full stop. Remember what we said. The date is not part of the address. Therefore, if you decide not to punctuate the address, please do punctuate the date. And in writing the date, always make sure that, for instance, look at this one carefully. 2nd May. The ND is hanging on top. Do not do that in your writing. Make sure the ND is in line with the 2. If you write the ND to be hanging on top, that particular part will be circled and marks will be subtracted from your score. So here is an example of an address with punctuation marks. Ghana Senior High School, Post Office Box 222, Tamale, full stop. Please don't mix up the punctuation marks here. Ghana Senior High School, P, full stop. O, full stop. Box with a capital letter, 222, Tamale, full stop. Don't mix up the punctuation marks in this. If you do this, the examiner will circle it and subtract marks from your score. 2nd May 2022. 2nd May 2022. There is a comma after the month and a full stop after the year. Again, don't let the ND of the second be hanging. 2nd May. The ND should not be hanging. When you keep on repeating these things to candidates will be like, oh, sir, we will not do this. But they will go and do the same thing. So, this is a warning. Please, take it from here. Don't make such mistakes. Let's now move to the salutation. Another important convention A feature of an informal letter is the salutation or the greeting, which also varies from one letter to another. Even with informal letters, the salutation may vary depending on the degree of intimacy with the person you're writing to. For close friends, use dear or hi followed by the person's name. Hi Vivian, hi Joyce, hi Jane, dear Kofi, dear Amma. For relations like brother, mother, cousin, etc., you may use my dear brother, my dear sister, dear brother, my dear cousin, dear mom, dear dad, my dear dad, etc. Always remember that an informal letter does not have a title. An informal letter does not have a title. Don't go writing a title for an informal letter. This is a feature of a formal letter, not an informal letter. An informal letter does not have a title. Then we move to the introduction. An introduction to a letter is as important as the main body itself. Often, an introduction to informal letters may contain pleasantries. Such pleasantries may include the following. 1. Congratulating one on one's achievements. 2. Expressing your gratitude for gifts, a favor, or a piece of advice. 3. Expressing surprise at some development. Always make sure that your friendly letter contains pleasantries. This is what makes your letter friendly in nature. You know that in a formal letter, you can't do this. Therefore, the use of pleasantries is a feature unique to the informal letter. Hence, you must use them in your writing. Note that the introduction to an informal letter may be to acknowledge the receipt of a letter from a recipient. This is normally used when we are replying to a letter we have received. It may also assume the position of writing to your recipient first. In this case, our recipient hasn't written to us, but we are writing to him or her first. Read the question carefully to know what you're expected to do. In case you are replying to a letter, you can use introductions like this. I am highly delighted to acknowledge receipt of your lovely and inspiring letter dated 1st March 2010. I received your interesting and thought-provoking letter just a couple of days ago, and it was nice to hear from you after a long break in correspondence. And it was nice to hear from you. Please don't go and write, and it was nice hearing from you. It was nice to hear from you. Most candidates will end up writing, it was nice hearing from you. Please, we don't have anything like hearing from you. You can only use hearing in terms of idiomatic expression, but don't use it in the continuous form. Your maiden letter, which was quite educative and interesting, was received a couple of days ago. Your maiden letter, which was quite educative and interesting, was received a couple of days ago. I was overwhelmed with joy when I received your exciting and educative letter. I was overwhelmed with joy when I received your interesting and educative letter. I was filled with joy when I got your rather long but interesting letter. I was filled with joy when I got your rather long but interesting letter. All these introductions can be used when we are replying to a letter we have received. However, don't use them when you are not replying to a letter, but once the writer assumes the position of writing first, then, in that case, the recipient has not written to us, but we are writing to the person first. We can consider using pleasantries. For example, we can use, Why has it taken you so long to reply to the last letter I wrote? Is it due to your usual laziness? I presume it is rather due to hard work or pressure from work. Isn't that interesting? Why has it taken you so long to reply to my last letter? Is it due to your usual laziness? I presume it is rather due to pressure of work. How are you faring in your new school? Again, anytime you're asking a question, use a question mark. How are you faring in your new school? Is it due to your usual laziness? I believe things are quite normal and that you're now finding your feet. I believe things are now normal and that you're now finding your feet. Or you can be writing a letter to express gratitude. For example, accept my gratitude for the gift. It has come at the right time to solve some of my problems. The textbooks in particular will help me prepare adequately for my impending examination. Or accept my profound gratitude for the financial help. I intend to use part of the money to pay my long-standing debt and the rest to buy some recommended textbooks. Or accept my heartfelt gratitude for the keen interest you have shown in my studies. I will not let you down, or I won't disappoint you, and I'm optimistic about my success in the impending examination. Avoid introductions like, "The brightness of the day has given me the opportunity to pen down this letter." Please, such sentences have been used over and over again, and they don't show any creativity or any critical thinking or analysis. Please, avoid the use of cliches or trite words. Let's now move to the body or content. Having examined the general features of an informal letter, let us now turn our attention to the body of an informal letter. Generally, a letter must have an introduction and the main body, which is often spelled out by the examination question itself. In other words, it is the examination question that will determine what we should write about. Don't go writing what you like in an examination. Read the question and make sure you understand it before you start writing. We should therefore remember that no matter how good or how flawless our language may be, if we fail to write about what the question is actually asking us to do, it means that we have deviated and we will score low marks or fail entirely because of that. Please, always read the question. Be sure that you can answer it before you start writing. Let's now discuss the language and tone. This is very important to an informal letter. The language and tone is perhaps one of the essential parts of an informal letter. Generally, the tone and language must be chatty or conversational. This is another feature that is unique to the informal letter or the friendly letter. You can't be chatty or conversational in a formal letter. Hence, this is a unique characteristic of an informal letter or a friendly letter. Therefore, we expect to see candidates using this in their writing. Familiar conversational words and word forms, which are used to an equal or age group, are considered most appropriate for informal letters. Therefore, don't go using grand language, grand words, or big words to show that you are good in English language. No, if you do so, your friendly letter will be mistaken for an academic piece of writing. Hence, the tone and the language will not be chatty or conversational. In writing the body of your informal letter or friendly letter, always avoid the following. Avoid meaningless or irrelevant words. Everything that you're writing should have a connection with the question, or every word, phrase, or sentence that you use must be in line with the question. Don't go writing words because you think those words are very interesting or those words are attention grabbers. If you're writing such words, make sure that those words are not meaningless or they're not irrelevant words. They should have a link or a connection to whatever you're writing, and they should help you to suit the demands of the question. Avoid the use of pompous language. Don't use too many proverbs, too many idiomatic expressions, or too many jargons. This will make your letter difficult to read and to understand. And remember, the words that you're using for the purpose of examination should be words that can easily be understood by anyone. Inasmuch as you are at liberty to write whatever you like, remember that this is an examination, and an examiner will have to read your letter, understand it, before he or she can score you. Therefore, if you use words or proverbs that are unfamiliar, then he or she might not understand your letter, and I doubt any examiner will go around looking for the meaning of expressions when he or she has thousands of scripts to mark. Therefore, avoid the use of pompous language. Again, don't use cliches or trite words in your letter. Avoid expressions that have been used over and over again, hence they have lost their usefulness. Expressions like, "My pen is running out of ink," "All the folks are hale and hearty," "The brightness of the day has given me the opportunity to pen down this letter." Please don't use these expressions. Furthermore, avoid the use of ambiguous words. The words that you use in your essay must have only one meaning, or the context in which you use them must explain their meaning. Don't use words that have more than one meaning. In the end, the examiner might misunderstand you or might be confused as to what you mean by what you're saying or what you intend to write. For instance, if you say, "I went to the bank," I went to the bank. Did you go to the river bank or you went to a financial institution? Do not use words that have more than one meaning. Explain the meaning with context. I went to the bank to save some money. I went to the bank to withdraw some money. I went to the river bank to buy some fish. Please, don't use ambiguous words, else the examiner will misunderstand what you intend to say. Again, avoid over-elaboration. Over-elaboration only means that the candidate is not sure of what he's writing, or the candidate does not know what he's writing. Hence, he tries to explain the same point in different ways to the understanding of the examiner. Don't be jovial or comical about the letter. This is also another serious issue. Don't be jovial or comical about what you're writing. Inasmuch as you're writing a friendly letter, doesn't mean that you should go about joking. No. The tone should be conversational and chatty, but don't be jovial or comical about what you're writing. The body of your letter is nearly at least 5 paragraphs in length. It is quite long as it contains the meat of the letter. The first paragraph introduces the subject for discussion. The body contains major or topic sentences. Each topic sentence is developed or enhanced with major and minor support sentences. There are some conventions which needs to be observed in a friendly letter. They include the use of contracted expressions. Once you don't use them, it means that you haven't fully understood what an informal letter is. Please try as much as possible to use contracted expressions in friendly letters. This is also a unique feature of a friendly letter. Hence, when marking candidate scripts, examiners look out for the use of contracted expressions. In a friendly letter, you are at liberty to use jargons. However, always make sure that the jargons you are using are easy to understand. This is an examination, remember, and you're not writing to your friend in real life. The letter is going to the examiner and not your friend. Therefore, the jargons that you're going to write should be words that the examiner can easily understand. We are gradually coming to the conclusion of our lesson. We're now going to discuss the conclusion and subscription. It is very necessary to conclude our letters. An interesting conclusion will make our recipients want to read more letters from us. The concluding paragraph serves as a summary of what you have written. In a nutshell, these are some of the reasons I think. In conclusion, the above mentioned points, you see that it serves as a summary of what you have written. The subscription comes at the end of our letters, and like the salutation, it varies from one form of letter to another. Your choice of subscription will depend on the degree of intimacy or closeness you have with your friend or whoever you're writing the letter to. Let's consider the following examples. Yours ever, ever yours, yours affectionately, affectionately yours, your sister, your brother, your loving son, your loving daughter, your loving nephew, your loving niece. Which of these subscriptions do you normally use? Many people use some subscriptions in friendly letter which are inappropriate. Let us consider this expression, yours lovely. Do you think this is the right subscription to use? If I say, you have a lovely bag, what does the word lovely mean? Beautiful, isn't it? Can we then say, yours beautiful? The answer is certainly no. So, don't go writing yours lovely. Similarly, some people place an apostrophe in yours, which makes it a possessive case. Therefore, it renders that particular expression wrong. Please, don't do that. Yours affectionately. Look at the words carefully. Yours begins with a capital letter. No apostrophe before the yes. Affectionately begins with a small letter. And this is how you expected to present your subscription. There is an obligatory comma after the subscription and a mandatory full stop after your name. Here, you can decide to write your first name or the name the recipient knows you with. Or you can decide to write your guy name or nickname. Don't write your full name in this case. Also, no signature is needed in an informal letter. So far, we have discussed the features of a friendly letter and how to use them effectively and efficiently. Thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share this video.